Isley Brothers kind of vibe to it. Welcome to Gab Jam, episode 125. Our topic today is, what does it mean to hire a professional? And I'm just going to be honest with you, when I was talking to myself about the topic and trying to take notes, I ended up writing a whole blog post. But we're going to discuss it because we've had some history, some experiences that lead us to feeling some kind of way about it.
Anyway.
Okay, what does it mean to hire a professional? We are DIY rock stars.
So first, let's back up and let's try to define this. Let's find out, what are we talking about? What are we not talking about?
Okay.
So like when we say professional, you can look at it in two different ways. Like for instance,
4 different ways.
Or whatever.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that there are certain professionals that are licensed by whatever state that you're in to do whatever craft that they're supposed to do. You know, that it could be like doctors, lawyers, blah, blah. Or they could have like, you know, someone could be like a certified plumber or whatever it is that they go through.
Yeah, credentials is one definition of professional.
But credentials could be something different. So meaning that, you know, I could be like somebody who's taught myself as a professional because I went to X school. But that doesn't mean that I went through and I passed some test that was out there that I had to pass in order to become.
Okay, so there are different layers that go to that.
Right, to be like a master plumber or something like that, electrician. These are people who have to have a license to do what they do. Right, and they're supposed to be licensed to do what they do. So meaning that they can hold themselves out as professionals based on that. Now, whether or not they do whatever crap that is well or not, that's a whole different thing. But, you know, as a consumer of services,
we feel more comfortable, needless to say, if a doctor has some credentials.
Right, but not only that, it's like if a doctor's not good, there's a certain recourse that you have. You know, doctors, lawyers, whatever else, they're supposed to have malpractice insurance that allows a person who is dissatisfied with their service or in some kind of way injured, harmed by their services, some type of recourse against that individual. They have boards that are established, so, you know, meaning they can be sanctioned by their board along with being sued by you and all the rest of this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that's on the line for those professions to make sure that they, when they are doing these services to the general public, that they're doing it at a certain level. All right, so now we get into maybe more the ad hoc type of things that we find with artists, right?
So go ahead. Credentials is one way to define profession. Experience that makes them wiser in a said profession, which makes them more valuable because they can give you advice. So,
but then again, that's the hard thing. The thing that's always good about credentials is that credentials is objectively checkable. And the problem with experience is that experience is make upable. So that means that, you know, I can say that I've done blah, blah, blah. But, you know.
But you probably can check references kind of related.
You might. It just depends, you know, because there might be certain references that are no longer around. I could cite to somebody who's no longer around anymore and say, oh, yeah, you know, I trained the blah, blah, blah.
Or you could pick that one or two customers that you had that had a good experience with you and kind of dismiss all the ones that you had.
I've been playing bass for 30-something years, and over the 30 years I was playing, you know, I had musical lessons with Jaco Pastorius. Is it true? You know what I mean? Again, that's what I'm talking about. So.
And then the third way you can determine if somebody is quote unquote professional is if they're getting paid in some way or another. Because there is an incentive for them to provide a service well enough to keep getting paid if that is their profession. And people have agreed to pay them because they
and we can just tie this back to the oldest profession, which is prostitution. Get paid for it, you're a prostitute. All right, so got it?
Yes, but we are DIY rock stars. Why are we DIY rock stars?
Because you do it yourself.
But why? I guess what ended up happening was I went down the rabbit hole as to why. You know, because originally, I think we were looking for other people. I remember we first had our first photographer.
Right.
You know, she had a degree in photography. She was a quote unquote professional, putting herself out there for services.
Right.
Seemed like she had references. She had professional looking pictures to offer, and we found her in some director or whatever. But it was only after we had taken, experience taking pictures with her that we realized that pictures were quote unquote professional, but they weren't in keeping with what we wanted.
Right, but that has nothing to do with her abilities.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Right.
But we also realized in that after we went to another photographer that we paid considerably more, who actually kind of taught us a little bit about the process, about choosing your clothes better. I mean, this is something we didn't get at all. Making sure your makeup, is better.
And she claimed that she did makeup. But at that time, she did not do makeup for African Americans.
African Americans, right.
That part she didn't realize until she actually had to do makeup on African
Americans, right.
So that part we do know she didn't know that.
So makeup, clothes, poses, all of that were things that when we went to the other photographer, kind of schooled us on, like, okay, you need to pick out clothes that are going to be, very editorial, so we learned things along the way. And so now when we try to vet photographers or whatever else, we try to make sure that we do that. But even still.
But that goes to the other point, as far as being a DIY rock star, is that you've got to do your research.
Right.
You got to do your homework.
This is what happened. The more research we did, the more we ended up kind of implementing some of those things that we were looking for ourselves. Right. And it's not that we don't want to hire a professional to still do it, but we want to make sure that what we're looking for is the result of that. Right. So that we get edgy pictures, not necessarily good looking, because even the last photographer, they look good for what she was looking to achieve, but they didn't fit what we were looking for. Right, what we were trying to communicate from our
you got to take those type of chances. Right. I mean, and majors do it too. We talked about this before. It's like, majors may do a video shoot with someone, may do a photo shoot with someone, and that for that particular project, whatever that professional didn't work for that. Yeah. But it in no way reflects poorly on that professional's quality. It's like getting someone who's great at mixing rock songs to mix your hip hop song. Right. And then, but I can understand it if you're saying, I'm going to get this rock guy to do it because I want him to bring this rock sensibility to it. Yes. And so you're looking for that direction. But if you're going to go to that guy expecting him to give you a hip hop mix and he has never done that type of mix before. Right. Then in a way, it's kind of unfair for you to do that. Yeah. It's like me, going to Stanley Clark. We talked about this before. Going to Stanley Clark and saying, Stanley, I want you to play like Jocko. Right. And it's like, I don't play like Jocko. And go get a bass player who's kind of like one of those Jocko ripoff people, and you can, and that will work. Yeah. I mean, that's what B.B. King said, right? Don't get me to try to do something. Yeah. U2 was trying to say, hey, B.B. King, he had the chords, and he was like, I'm B.B. King. I don't play chords. I play what I play. Right. That's when I'm BB. That's what B.B. King does.
That's him as a professional.
Right. That's him as a professional. Yes. So you don't get B.B. King on your song and start saying, "Hey, B.B. King, play George Benson." Right. No. And so that's why that goes back to the research. Right. It's trying to find someone to say, okay, I like your sensibilities. Right. And then wanting them to bring those sensibilities. Right.
And then I guess also they have to, what the difficulty sometimes that we've been finding is maybe they're not in the area or just all kinds of things. They be in another country. Right. And so we just haven't so far found that. And in the meantime, I guess all the research and the results that we want and all that leads us back to doing it ourselves. But it's not that. I guess that's our ultimate goal. But yeah. I don't think I have much more to say. I guess it was also a thing that was kind of left over from the Haters Are Your Elevators. We were trying to get folks to opt into our email list, and we had the tips for better band photos, and I got so many photographers. Don't ask me why I use the hashtag photographers, but hashtag photographers. So I had so many photographers who were giving us hate, like they should just hire a professional. That's the biggest tip. Like, well, that means, again, you can waste a bunch of money just trying to go out and hire a professional. So I guess that's what kept leading me to, you know, we want somebody to do our videos. So far we haven't found anybody that we have liked or vibed or whatever. So, you know, until then, I'm doing a video. So I guess,
and that's for anyone, and that's the difference between all the stuff we were saying before. It's one thing if you're going to a lawyer, you know, to look at your contract and all the rest of this kind of stuff, and then to basically tell you what's in the contract, what is good for you, what seems like it's bad for you in the contract, and that kind of stuff. You're trying to get that. That's one thing. That's a completely objective type of thing that you're asking for. No. I'm not going into whether or not you want to sign away all your stuff.
No. I got you. But I'm saying
but you just need to know as far as what's in there. Them saying you're signing away 70% of your royalties or 100% of your royalties into perpetuity, which means forever. If they tell you that, then that's what I'm talking about. Not necessarily whether or not you want to sign it.
No, and I was saying, but also whether or not they specialize in that area, because that's one thing that we found too, is that maybe they're really good. Like you were saying, if you're somebody who does the thumping and plucking versus, so I'm saying they could be a really good lawyer. They could tell you what's in the contract, but you don't know what's typically standard. Well, what is a standard contract?
But that part I'm not getting to.
So that might be somebody who specializes.
As much. I'm just getting into whether you're objectively going to a person to see what's in your contract, and that's it. And I'm parlaying this back to with respect to a photographer is that you can't have that same standard. So objectively, you can have the state of X that says that Bob Jones is a certified professional photographer, right? And yes, he will be able to take your picture.
They look clear.
All the rest of that kind of stuff. But to say that it's going to get you what's going to help you to marry in with your project and going to reflect your vision and all the rest of that kind of stuff, that's completely subjective.
Well, I would say the same thing for hairdressers. I mean, we have found just any of those types of things
that because again, you have to be licensed by your state in order to be a barber, hairdresser, whatever else.
They won't burn all your hair out. But are you going to get what you came in to get as far as now if you're looking for a certain look or back when I was looking for color, just all that kind of stuff, you may not get that from just somebody who has the certification that I can do this without burning out your hair.
Exactly. And so sometimes it's good if they do have a book of the styles that they normally do, so you can kind of see what they do, because sometimes you can't bring in something to a hairdresser and say, hey, can you do that? And they may or may not be able to do it, and they may represent that they can. But and that's the same thing with a photographer, is that you just need to look at, what are the pictures that they normally take? And then once you do that, you kind of have an expectation of what you're going to get. And don't try to make that photographer that does X do Y. And
I guess the other part of that was, even when I thought I vetted, I really liked the photos that I saw, and it just what they got from us was not what I guess I was just compelled me. I guess that's the way
Right, but all I'm just saying is that if you go to a photographer and they do X, and you're gonna go and say do Y, then usually what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to push you into what they do.
Which is what I thought I wanted. So I guess
but that's a whole different thing. Then there's no other way to get around that other than doing it. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's nobody's fault. It's just that you don't like it. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's a way around that.
I don't think there's a way around it. I just was saying that just be cautious when you think you're just signing up for a professional.
But there's no way to be cautious. You know what I mean?
I'm saying you try to do your research. You try, like you said, you try to look at their work. You try to see. I guess also it's the dependable, reliable thing too.
But that's a whole different issue.
Well, but that's part of being quote unquote professional.
But you won't know that. I'm saying I can't know if you're dependable until I book something with you and you don't show up. Then that's when I find that out. But I can't. I could just say maybe what you won't want to do is somebody you've never worked with before is pay them all your money up front.
I guess
you definitely wouldn't want to do that. I mean, now they might want some type of
deposit
or something
and
like
actually
that.
But sounds like a person. That sounds like a person that is actually taking care of business.
Right.
To me, when they actually ask for something.
Yeah, but still, just because they do, you give them that, that don't mean they're going to show up. So that's going into the whole dependable thing, but that's not where we're at. No. I'm just at the point of saying, if you are just trying to pick someone to do something for you, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, I'm looking for somebody that does Jocko stuff. So I hear this guy, he sounds great, he's all the rest of these great things. I even talked to 3 or 4 other musicians that played with him, right? But unbeknownst to them and to me, he now has a drug problem. You know what I mean? So I mean, I can't go into that part of it. Then I just tell you never hire anybody because what I mean.
Right.
At that point,
you try. I guess the thing is.
But what do you do about that? There's nothing you can do about that until that happens.
No, that's true.
Until the thing goes wrong, that's when you kind of say, okay, I checked that guy out.
Yeah, and I was just saying, but all the stuff that you could do ahead of time, which would have been, like you said, knowing what the person sounds like, maybe even talking to past people they've worked with. You know what I'm saying? Those are the normal things that you do to try to better.
But there's always going to be a risk. Yeah, especially with those type of people. Again, when it's a lawyer, when it's a doctor, when it's somebody like that, somebody that you have a recourse against, and that's done with your retainer, right? Then you have a recourse. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, I go to the state bar and go whatever else.
If the hairdresser burns your hair out, you do. You could go and get her, license snatched or whatever.
Right. These are things that you can go about doing. I'm not saying
aesthetic things, it is harder. It's a lot harder.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a lot tougher if you're talking about a musician or blah, 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 or whatever else. I mean, that's a whole different type of thing, or a producer,
or a stylist, or just any of those things where it is a more subjective type of judgment.
Right. Yeah. That's gonna be a lot harder to do. So.
What do you think? Do you look to hire professionals to help you shape your vision and to carry out your goals, or are you more the type to roll up your sleeves and decide it's best for you to do it yourself? Let us know what you think. What's coming up next?
You said it's the Funk album.
The Funk album is coming next. About the next month and a half. We will have Sugar Fit is the name of the album, and we're really excited about it. So look for that. And I don't know, we're in week 8 of quarantine. I guess we got, 4 more weeks of quarantine?
Yeah, at least in Michigan. I don't know, there might be other people, you might be set loose, set free. Yeah. Enjoy if you are. So, And
we'll watch and see if how the numbers do in your state.
I would say hopefully they don't go up.
I hope not. So we're looking for topics and ideas for our quarantine. If you have some ideas for us, make sure you drop it in the comments below, and maybe we'll shoot your topic.
Yeah, sounds great.
If you dig the vibe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and joy.